Hey there guys, and welcome back to one of my Doctor Who book reviews, and today in this video I'm going to be doing a review of the Virgin New Adventure Original Sin, which is written by Andy Lane. Now let's start by taking a look at the presentation of this book, and as you can see we've got the Seventh Doctor in a rather unusual outfit, and we've got Chris and Roz Forrister. We've got Chris Cwej and Roz Forrister there. I'm not sure how exactly you pronounce Chris's second name, so we're just going to go with Cwej because I think that's how it's spelled in the book. So we've got Original Sin by Andy Lane there. We've got the spine, it's a bit creased down there, but never mind. We've got the blurb there, logo, and a little bit about Andy Lane as the author. So I'll just read you the blurb now. This is a quote from the story, and it says, I'm playing with fire so dangerous I could scorch eternity. And the blurb is, the last words of a dying alien send the Doctor and Bernice to the 13th century Earth in an attempt to avert an unspecified disaster. Before they can even unpack, they've been arrested by the educators and sentenced to death by an Imperial army. Their attempts to prove their innocence take them to the Mosaic planet Purgatory, to a prison inside a star. Meanwhile, educators, I'm not sure how you quite pronounce that, Roz Forrister and Chris Cwej have their own problems. Investigating a series of apparently motiveless murders, they have stumbled on a conspiracy with sinister overtones. On the run and out of luck, the only people they can turn to, their chief suspects, the Doctor and Bernice. And as they run, someone is watching them, someone who knows the Doctor of old. So yes, quite an interesting blurb, I think, that, and I won't read this bit, I'll just let you pause that, because it's just a little bit about the novel itself, and a little bit about Andy Lane. This is a 320 page long Doctor Who book, so it's not too long. It didn't take me that long to read, I don't think, probably just over a week, I think. So yeah, it didn't take that long to read, really. So what are my overall thoughts and opinions on Doctor Who Original Sin? I know that for a fact that some of the official writers for Doctor Who didn't really like these two characters, so I was a bit wary of whether or not I would like them. But it turns out I really did enjoy their characters, because this is actually the first time we see Chris and Roz in the Virgin New Adventures as they come on to be future companions, and I think their first proper story after this is Sky Pirates, which I do have actually. So as for the story itself, it's basically a murder mystery, and there's this old foe that the Doctor has met before, and when I found out who the actual villain was towards the end of the book, I won't spoil it because it's quite, I mean, it shocked me quite a bit. I was like, how the hell did he survive that event which happened in the story? I'm just going to say it's a 1960s Doctor Who villain, but I'm not going to say which villain it is, because there are a lot of villains in 60s Doctor Who, and I'll leave it up to you to experience the big plot twist. As for the aliens on this story, I thought they were really well utilised. They're called the Hith, and they're from a planet called Hithis, I think it is, yeah. And I thought they were quite interesting villains, but they've got really weird names, like, for example, one is called Powerless Friendliness, and another one's called Waiting for Justice. That is literally what they're called. So sometimes that took me a while to get used to those alien names, but I got there in the end, and it wasn't too much of a problem for me. And as for the supporting characters, there is a particular character called Professor Price, who has basically been locked up in prison because of his psychotic ways that he inflicted on his victims, and it gets to a point where the Doctor and another professor called Bell Tempest, Professor Bell Tempest, need his help, so they try and help him pretty much escape prison. So it's quite interesting to see their dynamic, their interaction with this quite nasty piece of work. I won't reveal what happens to him or what his motivations are. We learn a little bit about Roz's backstory, and it's quite tragic. because she did lose one of her partners before Cwej came along, and it's quite interesting to see how that affected her. And yeah, we learn a little bit about Chris's, that he's a bit of a golden boy, and he's probably like some sort of like middle class, just a middle class person. He's got a nice family, and we get to see a little bit of his family at some point in the book. Because I think to me this book is a complete page turner, and I don't think there were that many times when I got bored, because there's always this mystery going on in the background, and I think it's just a really entertaining book. And like I said, it didn't take me that long to read because it's not very long. It's only 320 pages, roughly, I think. So yeah, really did enjoy this book. But like I said, the main villain of the story is quite shocking, I have to admit, and the way he comes into the story is very good, and quite really, the main villain has really got menacing presence, and he almost he pretty much does talk to the Doctor at one point, but like I said, I'm not going to spoil who that villain is. So I think if I had to give Original Sin a rating, I think I'll probably give it an 8 out of 10. It's definitely one of my favourite Doctor Who books, and if you ever get a chance to read it, do that. And I think I might buy the Big Finish novel adaptation that they did, because I've heard that's supposed to be quite good as well, and I've really enjoyed this, so I think I might get that at some point, and I might do like a comparison video like I did with the Human Nature book and the TV story. So yeah, I think Original Sin gets an 8 out of 10 from me. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this video, and stay tuned for more Doctor Who book reviews in the future, or I don't know what my video will be next, but it might be a book review, but who knows. So thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you next time.